Why don't you play, Sean, the end of the national anthem that we developed here, at least 10 years ago, instead of Land of the Free and Home of the Brave at the end of the Star-Spangled Banner?
For the land of the free, better safe than sorry.
See, none of this surprises me, I'm sorry to say. Better safe than sorry has superseded give me liberty or give me death. It has superseded land of the free and home of the brave. We have become a weaker people. Leftism is a form of weakness. That's why they're angrier at the president than at China, because the weak never confront the bad. They confront the people who confront the bad. That's why they hated Ronald Reagan. They hate the hatred of this president on the left is unique in my experience. That's true. It has driven people to be mad. I mean, that Max Boot would say that Max Boot, whose parents came from the Soviet Union, would say in a Washington Post opinion piece that Donald Trump is Stalin. If somebody said in the Wall Street Journal that Barack Obama was Lenin, you think that they would continue to be writing for the Wall Street Journal? There is nothing you can say about this president that is over the top. You realize there's nothing. I mentioned earlier the New York Times treatment of Joe Biden. There were 7 women who came out. It's an interesting thing. Elisa Milano, who's not a moral giant, I'll put it very gently. So she defends Joe Biden. The women who paraded with the sign or in front of a sign, "Believe women," when there was nothing to believe with regard to Brett Kavanaugh. These women are utterly credible. And who is the woman who was a leader of the Me Too movement? She is now very almost bald, and she's an actress too. I forgot her name. To her credit, yes. What's her name? Yeah, Rose McGowan. That's right. Rose McGowan, to her credit, really, really knocked into to Elisa Milano for defending Joe Biden here. You know, she at least has been consistent. On behalf of the Dennis Prager Show, Kevin, thank you.
My pleasure, sir.
Yes, indeed. A lot going on, my friends. Anyway, my original point is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Better safe than sorry. The country was founded by people who treasured liberty more than life. In the secular world, people treasure most, not all, secular life. They treasure life more than liberty. In fact, they don't treasure liberty at all on the left. There are secular conservatives, clearly, who treasure liberty, even secular liberals, but not, the left doesn't treasure liberty. Because if they understand, I'll tell you why. It'll make sense to you. If people are free, then you can't control them. If you can't control people, the left is out of business. That is its business, to control people. Look at the governor of Michigan. The woman is a nut. She's a frightening nut. You can't travel to a second home if you have one, like on a lake or whatever, on the seashore, lakeshore. On what grounds? You can enter a store, but you can't go into the other areas? We'll do what the scientists tell us. Why? Since when do we do what the scientists tell us? We have a civilian government. It should be informed by science, but they shouldn't be the ones who determine what we do. Otherwise, we'll be in a lockdown for a year and a half. Then there's no more country. Is that obvious? There is no more United States of America. There will not only be bread lines, there won't be lines for what doesn't exist. There won't be bread. One of the largest meat manufacturing, no, not manufacturing, meat producing or meat packaging place in the country in South Dakota is stopped functioning because of the virus. People are on the left are not sophisticated in regard to thought. They're sophisticated in regard to presentation. It's so funny because all of my life I have heard from people on the left, we see nuances. People on the right see black and white. It's a very common, even liberal critique of conservatism. Really? Do you see the nuances here? Do you see how complex it is, the price that is being paid for your belief in safety? There was priceless last hour when the gentleman called me from Hoboken, New Jersey. So I asked him, when do you think this should end? He said, when it's safe. Okay. When it's safe? Imagine what if we applied that to the regular flu? Then we would be in permanent lockdown. All right, Paul in St. Paul. That's confusing, Paul in St. Paul. Do you ever get confused, Paul?
No, I never get confused. Hi, Dennis. We've chatted before. I want to talk about the no longer thinly veiled social engineering that is seemingly wanting to take place on the part of the left and the government in regard to the governor of Michigan. She not only banned travel to your second home, but she banned motorized boats.
Oh, yes, I know. That's right. If the boat has no motor and you're alone or with one person, it's okay. But if the boat has a motor and you're alone, it isn't. Does anyone know why?
No, that's the $64,000 question. I guess my question to you is regarding what Robin was talking about with civil disobedience. I joined a group, even though I live in St. Paul, voting is very important to me. And I joined a group called Michiganders Against the Quarantine or something. It's on Facebook. And within a week or two, they've got 300,000 people that have joined this Facebook group, and they're real unhappy.
Right. The question is, well, my question to you is how many of them live outside of Michigan? Because you do, and you joined.
Well, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Right.
But I'm just wondering, you're such a student of history, and you're so wise that I look to you for advice and counsel. And I would love to have a beer with you. I know you don't drink, but I think if you opened up your heart as to what's happening, I think you would be quite despondent.
Who says I'm not? I just don't allow myself to behaviorally become despondent. But yes, this is a very bad situation.
The Dennis Prager Show, live from the Relief Factor Pain-Free